Around 11 o'clock, as I'm driving home from this 30-page assignment that I did about 45 minutes away from the legal secretary, boom, I get a appointment. Never once spoke to the guy. It just pops up on my schedule. It's for 2:30, that last slot, that last available slot. And I see that, I'm like, great, I'm happy, because that's how the automation works. This person is a very special person. I have to speak to this person because they use the technology exactly the way it's designed. So when I get to this person's house, I'm gonna ask this person about this. And I've done this on camera. I show people how I ask you, just out of curiosity, how easy was it to find me? Or how long did it take you for your look for a notary? You guys have seen me do this on video, and people say, oh, it was a piece of cake, it was so great. So I make sure I want to ask this person. As I'm driving home at 11 o'clock, I'm crossing over the bridge, beautiful day, and I get this bing, and acknowledge this notification. You got a new appointment. This person performed and behaved exactly the way I was designed them to behave. Look for a notary, did it on my schedule, never once spoke to the person. I see the location, I see how many signatures the guy's got. So he's got 2 signatures, and he's oh wow, he's only a quarter of a mile from my house. Even better. Obviously, he knows where he lives. Obviously, he knows what number of signatures he's got. Some people are like this. There are people out there who know just what they want. They're just trying to get something done. They're just trying to get a domestic partnership agreement done. They know what they got to get done because their attorney told them to do it. Easy instructions. There's other people who call you, they have no clue. The people who are out there who know exactly what they need, like a legal secretary or like an estate planning attorney or like a roofing company or like a person who's just trying to get some domestic partner paperwork done, they know what they want. Okay. Sometimes they may have to talk to you and sometimes they don't, but these people exist. And those are the people who I target, those people. And they're out there. They just want to get something done. The price doesn't really matter. Right. It matters, but it doesn't really matter. They just want to get something done. So he's this guy. And I make sure that I have to talk to this person. Again, I'm keeping this in the back of my mind. And not to mention, it's at 2 o'clock at a time where or 2:30 rather, at a time where I would normally not be available. I just happen to open up my schedule like that morning. So this is how the automation is working. Open up my schedule that morning. Like, let's say, for example, yesterday, I could do it right now. Open my schedule for 2 o'clock or 2:30, put it past 3 o'clock. So the latest that they can book me is 2:30. This person gathered that last spot, and it's only, a quarter of a mile away from my house. For that particular time, on this particular date, this guy's available. I'm also available. He got a confirmation. He basically got a confirmation that says I can get this paperwork done. The day before Thanksgiving, when my newborn, their babysitter is with the family, but it's okay. I'll be home anyway. So I'm going to get this business taken care of that me and my partner, who's pregnant now, she's got to get my insurance. That's what they're trying to get done. I also got to get this notarized. That's where you come in. That's where your problem solving capability comes in. It's not the document itself. It's really what they're trying to get done. And it's just involved with the location and number of signatures. That's the information that I gather from. So I get to his house and then I do everything there. The way I conduct the appointment is always the same. And you guys see me do this on camera all the time. I tell them exactly why I'm there. I tell them I'm going to identify them, record their information. They're going to sign my journal. I'll complete their documents and then stamp them. And I'm out. Get back to your life. These were very nice people. And again, I had it in my mind that I was going to ask him, hey, man, just out of curiosity, how hard was it to find a notary? What was your situation like? Because he performed exactly the way I designed the system to work. So it's very good intel that I get from him. And he was very talkative. So it was really a good, productive session. I'll tell you what he said. So as we're sitting in his backyard, his wife is getting ready to go back inside. And he had a question. Is it ever going to be digital? He was talking about Ron. He didn't know it, but he was talking about remote online notarization. So I kind of brought that up to him. I said, yeah, there's actually ways that you can do this all digitally. Because he said the reason why he asked that is because he recently bought a house and a notary had to come out and do that. But he said there's some parts that were left out of the loan package. So he went to the office and had to sign it digitally. He's like, well, I didn't know a notary could come to my house. That's so cool because last time I had to use a notary, I had to sign it in person. And then there was something that was left out. So I went to the company, then we did it. It was still a digital signature. But when he was looking for me, he found me and he said, oh, this is cool. And by the way, I can see that he's available the day before Thanksgiving at a time where no one else is available. And boom, I'm just going to select it. I hope I do it correctly. It's just as if you went to the restaurant that you never went to, and then you order something that you never tried, but you know it's going to come. What you're looking for is like, do you use Calendly? Do you use Thumbtack? Do you use the systems and stuff? Like, yeah, you can go ahead and do that, but really where the magic happens is I would characterize it as appointments just to pop up on your schedule. Then are you answering the question that people are asking? If you just need a system in place that where someone calls you and then you can answer the questions and then you can help them set off a sequence of automated steps, that's different, right? Because you actually have to work by answering the phone. It's not very much. It's only 2 minutes on the phone. But what I like is when these people who know exactly what they want, whether it's a civil engineering company, whether it's Larry from down the street, they can go into your site, boom, select what it is that they're trying to get done. They know that they need a apostille for some land property in Philippines, or they know that they just need a birth certificate application and it's just a single signature. And then they can select that. And then they can get a confirmation email or a text message or a phone call. And then they know that you're coming and it happens. And then like you're just sitting on your porch like this morning. And then boom, you get a complimentary call for 10:30 today. And I ask him, hey, what do you want to talk about? He's asking about witnesses. So I already know that the answer to his question. But at this point, it's like when you're at the restaurant, like I'm sticking to this analogy. I'm gonna work this out. But the server comes up to your table and says, hey, what would you like to order? What would you like to eat? Well, I'm in the mood for this, or you don't know, you're hungry, but you don't know exactly know what to order. Well, I kind of feel like chicken. How's the soup today? How's the special? Oh, it's fantastic. Great. I'll recommend it. All right. Well, let me take your order. Let me pay for it. Let you pay for it now. I'll open up your tab, swipe your card, and then I'll come back with exactly what it is you need. So this guy is basically calling me, asking me about witnesses. Easy answer. All right. I don't know what it is exactly you need, but if you need witnesses, I can either provide it if you're just trying to witness a signature, like a will or something, or if you're trying to use what's called a credible witness, which is somebody who can stand in place for you if you can't identify somebody, if they don't have a valid form of ID, which happened the other day. Matter of fact, I made a video about that too. Guy had a invalid driver's license, but he had a passport. I was like, well, you're going to either need some witnesses or we're going to have to use a passport or some other form of ID. And he said, oh, I do have a passport. Let me go look for it. Let me go find it. Let me go run downstairs. And it took him 15 minutes to go do it. But this guy's calling me back. He's gonna call me about something like that. But nonetheless, I can still help. I can still bring your food to the table, sir. It's good that you guys are interested in building your businesses and growing your business. When you really break it down, it's a very fun business. You can definitely learn a lot, meet a lot of people. But if you truly want to turn it into a business, like the direction it's going is start using some of this technology. That's going to make it worthwhile in the sense that it's easy to burn out if you do everything. And if you can make your life a little bit easier, especially with the customer acquisition side of it, that's really where, the lead generation side of it and securing these appointments, having the confidence to know that you can go out and book your own assignments. That's really where the fun happens. It's a lot of fun. The way I try to approach it is from that perspective. I try to talk about the notary business from an educational standpoint. I know what it is that people are looking for, or at least I know what I was looking for, was trying to just book appointments. I was trying to secure appointments and making sure that if I couldn't get a call from the SnapDocs, then at least I would be able to get an appointment. I focus exactly on that. How do I serve the people who are just looking for appointments, who are just looking to get their child's passport renewed? That's what they're focused on. And that's where I focus my attention. I meet so many notaries they're saying, well, how do I market better? How do I sign up for another ROM platform? How do I sign up for another listing directory? Or I'm like, well, how do you do it? What's the real thing you're trying to do? Are you trying to increase your income? Are you trying to get more appointments? Are you trying to be more confident over the phone? Are you trying to be in front of a family of three and you're trying to conduct the notary assignment smoothly? Like, what is it that's really holding you back? Because you can sign up for as many platforms and many listing directories as you want. That doesn't necessarily always translate into business, and you guys know that. So man, there's like people talking about crypto now, business credit, like all these like government contracts. Everybody's talking about they want to be investors, and that's just life right now, man. Life is just so distracting, I feel like. But what I'm saying is that focus on getting better, focus on serving your customers better. I would focus on that, not photo shoots. You know what I'm saying? Like it helps. It doesn't necessarily hurt, but not, don't ever think that you guys aren't, like you're not doing enough. Like that's harmful. Don't, like you're doing enough. All right. If you want to do more, then take the necessary steps that you want to do more. If you need business training, take the necessary steps to get business training. It pays. It's an investment in you. It's an investment in your processes. It's really the process. That's really what it is. It's the process, right? Because you can try to get 1,500 different people to call you, but if you can't answer 1,500 different calls or you don't know what to do with them, then marketing is kind of a moot point at that time. If you put $5,000 into some ad campaign and then you start getting 3,000 calls and you can't help them, then that's just 3,000 people that you can't help, you know? Focus on the process. I would say answering the question that people have, serving them better, it's always going to be helpful because you're always going to be able to, someone's always going to have a problem that you're going to need to solve. Someone's always going to need some document that they need to get signed. If you help them get it signed, then that's really where the automation, you start answering their questions for them. Okay, I know you just bought a house, or I know you just purchased a new boat, and your insurance company wants to prove that you are who you say you are. So where am I going to meet you? Do you have proof that you are who you say you are? Are you available today at 2:30? Okay. Well, how about you decide when you're available, and then I'll be on your schedule. And then your insurance company also needs some documents printed, so I'm going to bring all those documents with me, and I'm giving them the option to help you. So I can answer that question. Well, by the way, here's how you pay for it in advance, because I don't want to get there and there's some misunderstanding, there's some misconfusion. And people want that. They want you to tell them how to get this taken care of. They can check it off their list. And they don't want the cheap option. They want to know that you are professional. When you come and they sign this piece of paper, it's going to be done. It's going to be taken care of. It's going to be done correctly. People like that. That's where the automation came from. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to continue to do well in Notary, and then because I have other stuff that I like to do in my life, like I volunteer with a group, I have a part-time job, I hang out with my wife, you know what I'm saying? I got family, but I still wanted to continue to grow my Notary business because I knew that there was something there. I knew it. I felt it because it was happening. I was, being active. I was meeting people. I was seeing what the issue really truly was, and it wasn't about the price. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about my website or how my logo looked. It was answering somebody's problems. But I wanted to also continue to live my life. I wanted to, wash my car home. I wanted to go into the movies. I wanted to continue to do these things, but I couldn't commit 9 hours a day doing loan docs. You know what I'm saying? So I had to figure out, like we were talking about earlier, as far as how much time are you committing to this? So that's where I wanted to implement the steps to automate. And how do I spend less time on the phone? How do I process somebody's payment in advance so that when I get to their house, they don't spend 15 minutes looking for a credit card or looking for cash or trying to get change? So how do I figure out, how do I get to someone's house and then they can tell me about the gate codes so that I don't get to their apartment building? Oh yeah, by the way, we forgot. We told you we live in a nursing facility. Like what? So I made this very hyper specific for every single client that I have. And now every single appointment is maximized, is optimized. The more stuff I had going on, the more I needed to automate. And I feel like that's the same way with people get burnt out because they're doing so much stuff and they're trying to grow at the same time, and it's very exhausting. They get pulled in all these different directions. That's the person that needs to automate. You need it more than anybody because you're just a one person operation, and you can really grow this business. You really can. You can get your own clients. You don't have to say, well, I want to get busy, so let me just go and, sign up for another 15,000 different listing directories that doesn't really result in, let me try to go print 50 more thousand business. Because that's not really the solution. I mean, it ain't going to hurt, but the problem really is, are you comfortable with the increase of business that you're getting ready to get? Do you actually have a system in place that you can actually accept this increase in business that you're getting ready to get? Well, I don't even. I'm using Google Voice right now. That symbolically was a confidence breaker for me because once I got a separate business phone, then all of a sudden that was it. And I'm saying maybe it's just me, but this is really kind of what set it off. All right, I'm officially a business. I got to move now. And I understand about the whole legal entity side of it and setting up your business accounts and all that stuff. I'm just saying, get appointments first. Be confident with getting appointments and watch how everything else opens up. Because you know you can always get an appointment to pay back the business credit that you run up. You know that you can always get an appointment for uh, the software that you invest in, or that the structures and the process that you invest in. So getting the business phone was definitely one that first step. Now all of a sudden I can accept more business. Now I can start to answer or see how I'm answering everyone's questions, and now I can start to really focus on it, investing in and serving the people, and then being able to book them for a guaranteed appointment. And if I can get them to pay in advance, then I can call other notaries and build up my network and make sure that I'm paying my other notaries in advance. So I can employ an agency type of operation. Like there's ways for people to grow, but you've got to be able to turn off a lot of the distraction because it will come. But then now you got more stuff going on. So now, well, the solution might be for you to automate. Maybe it isn't. Because if you want to start pulling yourself in different directions, now you're giving less attention to what it is that you need to grow. And that's exactly where I was. But I found out that the solution for me was to define these times when I'm able to take appointments and then be able to guarantee appointments and be able to answer specifically what my customers are looking for. And now SnapDocs isn't calling, so I don't have to worry about that now. Yes, I still do that, but at the same time, you can't just take 2 pointers. You got to take some 3 pointers, as sometimes that Steph Curry likes to say. Answer the question that people are asking, and they compensate you for that. But don't get so distracted by 6 figures in a year or $17,000 in a month. You can absolutely do that, but at the end of the day, you've got to be able to book an appointment. Damn it, right? That's where I want people to be confident in. But once you take that step, go ahead and take that step. I mean, the answers are there, but you're not going to get it from a notary business talk only. So, you got to take the next step after that. I love Notary just because everything that is involved, the driving, that's all taxable income. And then it's cool because it can become different types of income, right? If you're familiar with the whole cash flow quadrant and the Robert Kiyosaki thing with that, for that, I'm not going to go into all that, but it's because we're already over time anyway. But if you guys understand, if you're not, go hire a CPA, please. We started off the room talking about what were we talking about? I was telling a story about my recent appointments, and then using the feature of a free call, like, uh, uh, or this word complimentary, and how people like looking for free stuff, right? Like nothing's free, right? You know that, right? It helps to draw in what I like to call hot leads. And I also shared a story about how the guy who ended up being a really hot lead for me suggested that I charge people for those free calls. And I was like, no, because how did I get you? It was through a free call, right? That's exactly what they're looking for. People want, business owners especially want that. Talk about these high ticket clients, these high paying clients, people who need services done, people who need business done. How do you attract these people? Right. And then your ability to get to attract your own clients, like how crucially important that is. Everything won't happen today, y'all. Everything will not happen overnight. All right. So it's a business. It's going to continue to grow. You'll get better at it. Get experience, get exposure. That's really where I think it comes down to. Do as much as you can. Do as much as possible. Listen to as many people as you possibly can. But understand what it is that you're looking for so that you can kind of spit out the bones. But when you expose to all these different scenarios, you see what people's problems are. When you expose to doing jailhouse signings or doing signings in a memory care facility or doing just loan docs, if you only do that, then you don't want to do that. Get exposed, see what's out there, and you'll see that it's not as scary as you thought. But it won't happen just overnight. Continue to put these apparatus in place apparatus, whatever, continue to put these things in place, because when the calls come, can you answer it? That's got to be the question. When the call comes, are you going to be able to answer it? Or are you going to say, are you going to hang up on them? Don't hang up on them. Every person who calls you is your client. All right. If you haven't subscribed to my mail list, get on my mail list. I've talked about some business topics, and also starting to start sharing some videos that I haven't been able to put on Instagram. I'm going to put shorter videos on there, except the phone calls. I like doing the live phone calls, and so that people can kind of overcome this fear of being on the phone. And then what I'll do is do like those longer videos, put those on the YouTube channel. Someone called me out and said I don't do long videos on YouTube. And I was like, what? How do you call me out? But then I thought about that, and I said, oh, okay, well maybe some of the topics, some of like the very specific topics, um, like um, the appointment that I did the other day, where the person couldn't find his ID, and I sat there for 15 minutes. But what I was doing was I had the camera out and I was just talking, right? I'm not sharing or disclosing any personal or private information, but it was to demonstrate why you get paid in advance, because you never know what's going to happen. You might get to somebody's house and everything's all good, but you also might get to somebody's house and then you have to sit there for another 35 minutes. And you can kind of see how I work through those things. Like in real time, you say, hey, you can't find your ID. I'm happy to come back, you know, because I don't want you to start looking for your ID and it's 20 minutes later, you realize you can't even find it. So we just wasted 20 minutes. Are you sure you can find this ID? Because I can't sit in your house for the next 15 minutes while you open boxes and stuff. If you can find it and you're confident, let's continue to proceed. But if not, I can come back. I can just leave and then come back, and that way you're not stressed out, and and then I don't waste my time. But you see that in real time, and that's how you sort of conduct these appointments. And then I did the 30 signature document, a stack of signatures. You can hear this, right? Walk to the house. Hey, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. Listen, here to do two things: confirm your identity, what you sign. Your attorney contacted me. Got everything laid out for you. Sign these. Leave the date off of this particular document. Sign this one, and everything else is clear. I'll take your signature. Everything looks good. Feel free to get started. Boom. And you see how quickly it goes. Sign my journal, sir. Yes. Good. Fingerprint. Good. Okay. Excellent. And then how do you close off an appointment in terms of the follow up if there's any questions? And then also other things like this guy particularly, he talked about his illness that he had. Like he had some muscle wasting issue. It was like an awkward conversation, but you see how to navigate those conversations, because it will happen. If you're already good with people, you're a good people person, you may not need help, but you may not have been exposed to something like that, and that may be helpful. So I'm trying to post up those little bit longer videos, shorter clips, but you kind of see how we break those down. And so just to give you an idea of what to expect when so you're not surprised when you start doing like these specialty appointments, and there's nothing to be afraid of. So I say that to say, have a great day, y'all. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, go ahead and do it. All right. Talk to you all later. Have a great day.